Hello students, this is Dr. Gaurangi Bhatt here. Today I am going to discuss the explanation of the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender, Flamingo textbook for class 12th. Next slide. First stanza, Far From. The poet describes the miserable and pathetic condition of the children sitting in a classroom in a slum school. Their faces are unlike the usual children of schools. They are far, far away from the beautiful sights of nature. They look weak and hungry. Their unkempt hair looked like rootless weeds on their pale faces. Unlike other school children who are usually energetic and full of life, these children seem withered and lifeless. The children of the slum are also unwanted in society, just as weeds are unwanted in garden. A tall girl in the classroom is very depressed. She keeps her head down, being burdened by sad thoughts. The girl is perhaps physically and mentally exhausted due to her poverty. Next slide. The other students of the class are not in a better situation either, just like the girl who is bored with the problems in her life. There is a boy sitting in the class who is as thin as paper. Undoubtedly, because of malnutrition, he has big eyes like those of a rat's. Yet another boy in the classroom has inherited his father's arthritis because of the disease has stunted growth and his bones are twisted. He has inherited this disease from his father and recites his lesson from his desk in a mellow but weak voice. There is another sweet boy sitting at the back of the class. He is sitting there unnoticed and dreaming of squirrels playing in a tree. The dull and monotonous atmosphere in the classroom is perhaps unable to arrest his attention. Next slide. Stanza 2, On Sour Cream Walls. In this stanza, the poet describes the dirty classroom. The walls of the classroom look pale and dirty and give a rather unpleasant feelings. The names of the people are written on the walls who have given donations. There is a picture of Shakespeare on the wall. The pictures of domes of big cities represent the quality of life in those cities. The early morning sky is shown as cloudless in another picture. There is also a picture of the beautiful Tylosis Valley adorned with flowers. The world map, which divides the world into countries big and small, symbolically gives the picture the children the whole world. Next slide. But all these pictures have no meaning to these improvised children. The world depicted on these walls is not the world of these children. Their world does not contain huge domes of prosperity for the scenic beauty presented in the picture. Unfortunately, their world is painted with fog of hopelessness and hunger. Their future is grim and uncertain and sealed with a dark and dull sky. The poet again tells that their world is far away from the actual world of rivers and capes. These things are like stars in the sky which they cannot touch. Next slide. Third stanza, Surely Shakespeare. The poet calls the portrait of Shakespeare wicked because it is meaningless for children going to a slum school. Their quality of education is not good in these schools. The children here will never learn about Shakespeare's work. The map is also a bad example because for the children the classroom is the whole world. There is no world beyond their poverty, hunger and hopelessness. So these maps are useless, unreal for the children. The beautiful world with its offerings like the sun, ships, love and care only tempt them to steal because they cannot have all these worldly things. Next slide. They live in cramped holes and there is no end to their misery. There was a perpetual state of gloom, hunger and despair. Their bodies look like garbage heaps. They are very skinny and their bones are peeping out of the skin. The stage of poverty is intensified by the fact that the glasses which these children wear are cracked and look like broken pieces of a bottle. All of their life is being destroyed here in the slum. The slum is like a blot as big as doom on the maps of the children. Next slide. Stanza 4. Unless governor inspector. These children will continue to suffer this hell unless government officials like governors, inspectors, or educationists who visit such schools come forward to help them. The poet wants the civilized world to bridge the gap between them and the world of these children. They should offer the children a glimpse of a better world so that the maps become their window to the beautiful and charming world outside. Next slide. Then these windows of the elementary school classroom, which confine all their hopes and dreams, must be broken so that the children can be brought out in the green fields away from the filthy surrounding. The poet desires that these children should be allowed to run freely on the golden sands under the clear sky. They should be allowed to have quality education. The poet feels that education can help them immensely because, according to him, history is written by those whose language has the warmth and energy of the sun. Thank you.